Things that might surprise you when you go to Lima, Peru. So I recently just got back from Lima, and there were a number of things that took me by surprise. First off, the number of cargo ships in the ocean as we were coming in to the airport. Um, I was not expecting that. Now, I live in Panama City, Panama, and because of the Panama Canal, there are always a lot of ships in the ocean. I was not expecting that in Peru. Don't know why it's happening, but it was. Um, the dust. Everything was caked in dust. I mean, really caked in dust. And I learned that Lima, Peru is actually considered a desert city. It is second to Dubai as a desert city. That surprised me. The third thing was the change in temperature. I knew it would be a little bit cooler because it's a little bit elevated. Not that much, not Lima, but it was like a 20-degree difference. So in Panama City, when I left, it was about 87 degrees, and in Lima, it was around 68 degrees. So I needed a jacket, which was the other thing that caught me by surprise. Everybody was wearing a jacket or a coat or a scarf or some type of cold weather, and that's not cold, but cold weather gear, which caught me by surprise. The other thing was the gray skies. Um, the whole time I was there, which was about 6 days in Lima, the sun, even though it came out, there was always a cloud coverage. I was told that it never rains. Like they get very little rain in Lima. It's a desert city. Who knew? I didn't know. Maybe you knew. Um, but the weather there seemed to remind me of what I would think Seattle in the States would be like that, minus the rain. Um, it was a very clean city, but the traffic was horrendous. The other thing that I knew about, so it wasn't really a surprise, was the fact that their currency, they use something called, their currency is soulless or souls. Um, and the way to figure it out is to divide whatever it is by four, and then you would get what it is in dollars. So in other words, if something was 20 soles, then it would be about $4. So living in Panama City, I don't have to do any of that mental gymnastics about what things cost because Panama uses a US dollar. But it was always like trying to figure out things in Lima. So that was challenging, not necessarily unexpected. Um, Getting your money there, that was interesting. So I ended up mailing money to myself via Western Union, and then I picked it up at a grocery store once I was there. Um, and I did that because I knew I didn't want to use the money exchanges in the airport, which some people do. I didn't want to do that because it's just way too expensive. But I did learn after mailing the money to myself that I could have just used the ATMs. So if you're going to Lima, just use the ATMs. Put in your credit card or debit card and just get the money out in soles. Um, the other thing was so going to Lima, cross the equator. And so there was this lingering question that I had, because there's that myth about when you cross the equator, the water goes in the opposite direction than it does, north of the equator. And so I want to debunk that right now. It goes in the same direction. When I flushed the toilet, it went in the same direction. And then the other thing I wanted to see once I got there was how soon would it be before I actually saw an American brand? So right off the bat, guess what I saw? Starbucks. The other American brands I saw immediately were Nike, Dunkin' Donuts, and Hershey in Dollar City. Who knew?